Welcome to Mysteries of the Masters. I'm Johanna. Here I explore stories of legendary artists. We'll dive into the hidden aspects of their lives and some of the most captivating art ever made. Today we start with the life of Michelangelo Buonarroti, the Il Divino. From the ethereal Sistine Chapel to the majestic David and the famous Pietà, his works transcend time. But what inspired this unparalleled artist? What beliefs anchored his soul? There is a story about him that remained almost untold for 500 years, until an unexpected discovery brought it to light. We know of him that he was strong-willed, spiritually devout, incredibly hardworking, solitary and always searching for beauty. But this passage of his life reveals a lot more of his inner world. So let's begin with an unusual find in 1975, not that long ago, when museum director Paolo Dal Poggetto discovered a hidden chamber under the Basilica of San Lorenzo in Florence. It was hidden under an altar. There was a dusty trapdoor and a staircase leading to a tiny, forgotten room. It looked like an ordinary cold storage at first, until a closer look hints at a secret past. Poggetto suspected something more, given the room's location below the Medici Chapel. Michelangelo supposedly once wrote, quote, "I hid in a tiny cell, entombed like the dead Medici above, though hiding from a life one. To forget my fears, I fill the walls with drawings." For 500 years, the secret of where Michelangelo hid was lost to history. So could this be where he, in fear of his life, hid from the powerful Medici family in 1530? Then, after weeks, experts found something amazing. Drawings appeared, and here they were, Michelangelos, a secret kept for centuries. He was indeed hiding in this chamber for 2 months, as the Medici family posed a threat to his life. But here's where it gets interesting. Michelangelo wasn't always at odds with the Medici family, to the contrary. At 15, he was practically adopted, taken under the wing of Lorenzo de' Medici the Magnificent himself, who noticed the young talent and invited him into their palace. He then lived among them like royalty. He was given the finest education, and he was even commissioned to create the Battle of Centaurs. Now, why did he fall out of favor decades later and was forced to hide? It's a story full of drama and intrigue, a journey through the streets of Renaissance Florence. Michelangelo Buonarroti was born in this house on March 6, 1475, in Caprese, a small town situated in Tuscany, Italy. He was born to Ludovico di Leonardo Buonarroti Simoni and Francesca Neri. Not long after his birth, the family moved to Florence, where Michelangelo was raised. Then he was cared by a stonecutter's family because his mother was too ill to nurse him. He later joked that his passion for stone came from this early exposure to stone cutting. His mother died when he was 6. Although his father was a Florentine official with connections to the Medici family, the family was not wealthy. Michelangelo showed little interest in the family's business, but he was always drawn to the arts. His father saw art as a low profession, and he was against his pursuits. But his love for drawing was unshakable. By 13, he was apprenticed with Domenico Ghirlandaio, a renowned painter in Florence. Yet it was always sculpture that truly captivated him. At 15, his exceptional talent in both painting and sculpture caught the interest of Lorenzo de' Medici, a generous patron of the arts in Florence. Lorenzo invited him into the grand Medici palace to live among them like a son. He also gave him access to study the collection of Roman statues in the palace's gardens. There, Michelangelo started honing his craft in sculpture, becoming a master sculptor. Now, who were the Medici family? The Medici family started as small-time textile merchants and moneylenders and grew to be Europe's most powerful bankers in the 15th century. They are known today for funding artists like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Sandro Botticelli. The Medici's rise to this kind of power was controversial, involving clever politics and bold alliances. Things became complicated when the Medici used their wealth to gain power in the Catholic Church. They did that by lending large amounts of money to the Vatican, leading to Medici family members becoming popes. The family began their influence in the Vatican by helping Baldassare Cossa, a former pirate, become pope. Later, Giovanni de' Medici, who became Pope Leo X, was the first Medici to be pope, and the rise of the Medici papacy began. These actions made people doubt the church's moral authority. The Florentine people wanted independence, leading to a strong desire to be free from Medici rule. During this time, a Dominican friar, Girolamo Savonarola, gained influence in Florence. He became famous with his compelling and powerful sermons and spoke directly to the heart of the people. Savonarola strongly criticized the moral decline in the church and society, which he believed was also caused by the Medici's influence. As his popularity grew, so did the criticism of the church. He even once wrote to the Pope, quote, "You have built a house of deceit. You have put a prostitute on the throne of Solomon. The church has invited all who can pay to enter and do as they please. Those who do God's will be thrown out. O prostitute church, you spread your lewdness everywhere from land to sea." End quote. Well, no wonder the church tried to get rid of him, yet that was not easy as he had many followers. Savonarola's methods were quite radical. In 1494, he organized the bonfire of the vanities, burning art, books, and luxury items considered to be sinful distractions. Among his followers was the artist Sandro Botticelli. He used to be a Medici favorite and known for the Birth of the Venus and many other works commissioned by the family. But influenced by Savonarola's push for spiritual purity, Botticelli is said to have destroyed some of his own works in the flames. Savonarola soon pushed for the expulsion of the Medici family as part of the city's moral cleanse. Eventually, the Medici were forced to flee Florence and a republic was reinstated in 1494. Michelangelo was deeply religious, which was evident in his art and written words. He always valued truth and beauty in his works. Seeing the Medici political schemes likely drew him towards Savonarola's message and the Republican cause. Lorenzo de' Medici, who supported Michelangelo, died 2 years before the Medici were expelled. Savonarola was excommunicated by the church. The Vatican warned the Florentine people it would stop its religious services if they would keep supporting Savonarola. Savonarola was then arrested and executed in Piazza Signoria by hanging and burning. Michelangelo in Florence during this time probably saw this happen. The church got their way, yet the Medici were still not back in power in Florence. During this time, Michelangelo's David emerged as a symbol of independence. Finished in 1504, the 17-foot statue became a symbol of Florence's fight for freedom against tyranny, just like David's victory over Goliath. Instead of being placed at the cathedral, as originally planned, it was placed in front of the town hall, challenging Medici's power. This started Michelangelo's conflict with the Medici, as he sided with the Republican and even helped with their defenses by designing fortifications. So he was right in the thick of defending the Republic against Medici forces, who attacked Florence with military force. But in 1530, the battle was over. The Medici won and stormed back into power with a siege. Everyone who stood against them, including Michelangelo, faced severe punishment. In the face of death, he had no choice but to hide. Here we are in the hidden room discovered in 1975. Inside, they found drawings, including a portrait of the risen Christ and sketches of unfinished works. And now this secret chamber, Michelangelo's hidden cell, is open to public since November 2023, and you can visit it by booking it in advance at the Medici Museum. But how did Michelangelo get out of that tricky situation? Before I reveal that, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. Now, after hiding for 2 months, Pope Clement VII, also a Medici descendant, offered Michelangelo a way out. To finish the sculpture of the Medici domes, Michelangelo returned from hiding and got to work, but only completed 2 graves, Lorenzo de' Medici's with dusk and dawn, and Giuliano de' Medici's with night and day. He left the rest undone and left Florence in 1534 to Rome, never to return. There, the now 61-year-old Michelangelo took on another project, the painting of the Last Judgment. Given all that Michelangelo had endured, you can only see this work as a powerful statement of what he witnessed. In the swirl of corruption, death threats, and the execution of Savonarola, Michelangelo poured his soul into this work. Like Savonarola, who loudly critiqued the church's corruption, in pursuit of God's will, Michelangelo expressed his judgment not through words, but through his art. The monumental Last Judgment, with 300 figures, captures the second coming of Christ, not as a gentle savior, but as a formidable judge, ready to pass the ultimate verdict on humanity. Beside him, the deeply astonished Mary turns away, her usual role as a source of mercy, eclipsed by the moment's gravity. There is nothing that she can do. In this moment, she too is a witness to the final judgment, powerless and in awe. The saints and angels around him are not serene but intense. We are seeing Saint Peter as he solemnly returns the key to the kingdom of heaven to Christ, signaling the end of his earthly duty. The keys are no longer needed by mortals. Peter's gesture is grave at the world's end. His face reflects a solemn understanding of this eternal moment. And then look closely at Saint Bartholomew holding a flayed skin, believed as a self-portrait of Michelangelo himself. In this haunting image, he's not just an observer but a participant, acknowledging his mortality and the trials of earthly life. It's as if he's saying, "Here I am, a mere shell, bearing witness to the divine judgment I paint." To his left, the condemned spiral downwards, a mass of anguished figures ensnared by demons. Faces in the painting show fear, and the bodies are twisted in anguish as they pulled into hell. Each one shows regret and suffering. This scene of chaos and horror contrasts with the calm and grace of those being taken to heaven, their extremely muscular bodies symbolizing strong souls. This part of Michelangelo's work criticizes the clergy for not doing God's will. His famously painted Biagio di Cesena, the church's official, as Minos, a mythical judge of the underworld, with donkey ears and wrapped in a snake. This shows both Cesena's criticism of Michelangelo's work and the clergy's lack of wisdom. This masterpiece isn't just a biblical scene, it's Michelangelo's raw, personal confrontation with the world's and his own demons. In The Last Judgment, he's not just an artist, he's a fiery soul expressing divine redemption, challenging the earth with his vision of ultimate justice. Now thank you for watching. See you next time at Mysteries of the Masters.